Agil, let's wait till 50, then we will start. Right?
Yeah, sure. I'll have to just wait so that you people can join in. That
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of things to
Let's
cover today.
yes, let's
In the
wait till 50.
meanwhile, I would just like to inform the participants that we also have a Hacktoberfest brainstorming session right after this. Like it'll be start tentatively from 8 p.m. And over there, you people can give this idea of the project, the news application that we are building in the Jetpack Compose Camp, and build and make a better version of this application with the help of a community. So, does anybody know about what Hacktoberfest is? Have you heard of Hacktoberfest?
Everyone can write in the chat box or open their mic and speak. Don't hesitate to tell anything.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I know, Mayuk. Many people have not reached their home yet. We can understand, but we can't like do anything because we have two sessions today, and both are related to this project development. So basically, Hacktoberfest is like an open source event conducted during the month of October every year, where people give their ideas of projects which could be of importance to the society, or maybe discovering a new technology, a new tech stack, or any new innovation in any way. Anything that is new, anything that is helpful is welcome. And the community of people who know the tech stack will come together and work on this project and build it and submit it for the final thing. So we will, if you want to know more about the Hacktoberfest, do join in after this session that is from 8 p.m. Where if you have any ideas, you can give it. And this project that we are building here will be there in the Hacktoberfest, and we will kind of you people will come together and build a better version, a version with more functionalities laden into it. So any ideas, like we are building a very simple notes application to understand how to build applications in the clean architecture. So any idea anybody has that can kind of make this application even more feature laden, even more useful, you can unmute yourself also and you can write in the chat box, because anybody who gives the idea will be assigned that project. He will be the kind of leader of project leader of that project in the Hacktoberfest. So you people can give in your ideas. Even during the session, during today's session, if you feel that yeah, you have some idea, some application that you want to build, but you don't have the technical expertise of building it, you can share the idea over here. We can discuss it. Fine. So we'll begin in just a few moments.
Here in Hacktoberfest, we need to give 4 PRs, right?
Yes, we will discuss about it.
Shagil, I think you can start now.
Yes, we can start.
Okay, just a minute.
Let's start.
Rahul has raised his hand, I guess. Rahul, you wanted to say something? Okay, never mind. Shagil, you can continue.
Okay, so
Okay,
let's
so
start.
I
Let's start, Shagil.
yes. So I welcome all of you to the day 4 of this Jetpack Compose Camp, which is a community-based event that we are having. And today, as most of you know, will be the project development session. And without further ado, I will just share my screen and get started with the project. So before going into the project, I would like to introduce to you the API, which is the application programming interface that we will be using to get news directly from the internet. And the site over here is newsapi.org. So I'll paste the link to it in the chat box. So can everyone see it? Is my screen getting shared properly?
Yes, Shagil, it is.
Okay, sure. Okay, so this is the API that we will be using in our project. So first of all, what you have to do is you have to log in to this API, give in your email and password, and click on login. And over here, you will find your API key. Fine. So I'll just copy and paste it here in my clipboard. Fine. And this is the API key that we will be using. I mean, it's better that all of you create your own API key, because if you use my API key, then there will be a problem. Fine. Like my application will run a little slower. So you people can go to create your own account and get your API key. So after you have got your API key, you come back to the home, and I'll just introduce you to how the API will respond to our data. So we will be focusing on this one, the top business headlines in the US right now. So is everyone following till here? We need to be on the same page before we get started, because this is something serious. No? Okay. So here, whenever we will make a network call through this API, you can see that my API key is getting displayed over here. That API key equals to something. So I'll break this entire endpoint. This is, first of all, for those of you who don't know, this is an endpoint of a REST API using an HTTPS protocol. Fine. Now, what is that? Basically, just like you connect to any website using the protocol, that's the same protocol this API uses. So what happens is, this is the base URL, means https://newsapi.org/v2, and then we have a /. Now, after that, we have one item for the category. Now I'll ask all of you to just kind of note this thing. When we want to get the top business headline, we pass the endpoint as top hyphen headlines. But if we want to get everything, then we will do / everything. And this API will give us everything that is present in the database in the remote server. Fine. Now, after that, there is a question mark. So is anyone aware of like why there is a question mark over here? Any guesses? Like after question mark, we have a country equals to US, and category is equals to business, and API key is equal to this. So what are these? fields after question mark. There are 3 fields basically separated by an ampersand. Please.
I think it's checking whether the country is equal to US and category equals to business.
Yes, exactly. And Sabyasachi goes right. She says that it's a query. And what is a query? Basically, there is a database which has all the information related to the news. And from there, we are just fetching the information for which country is equal to US, category is equal to business, and API key is equal to the API key of the request, like the client. I am here the client because I'll be requesting using this API key. If I don't have this API key, the request will not be entertained. So when I'll hit this API key, what will happen is the browser, not the browser, the server will return me a response. And the response you can see is in this form. Fine. You can try it in your browsers also. Like you can just copy your endpoints and open any browser, a new window, and just paste and click on enter, and you see that we get the same result as we had got over here. And you can see there are so many news articles present over here. Can you people see it? Actually, this is the thing you'll be using when you work in the industry. A lot of APIs. So can you people see this thing? Yeah, great. So the format in which the API is returning us the data is called a JSON format. This is actually a JSON format. Now, what do we actually mean by a JSON format? So JSON is a JavaScript object notation. It is a way of like grouping data in the form of key value pairs. So for API, this is called a key. The name of the key is status, and for which the value is OK, and it will be a string, and it is a string. Then there is another key named total results, and the value is 68. Means there are 68 articles in total. And after that, there is a key for article, and it is divided into like it is actually the value of the article key is actually a JSON array. This is actually a JSON array. Why? Because this entire thing here, this is one article, the author, the title, description, URL, URL to image, and stuff like that. This is one image article that we will be displaying in our app. Okay. And there are similarly so many articles separated by comma, and all of them are forming falling under an array, which gets started over here and is ending right at the end. If you people can see this one. So this is basically a JSON array consisting of JSON objects. So is the concept of JSON objects clear? I would expect a few doubts about JSON. What is JSON? What are JSON objects? Just what are JSON arrays? Any clarification? Did you people follow what I said? Fast, guys. We have a lot of things to do today. Okay. Others? Yes, please interact. Only a few people are interacting every time. Everybody should interact, because all of us are building this project together. So now what we will do, we can see that there is a status and total results articles. So what we will do is we will just copy the entire thing. Now I'll tell you why. We'll just control A, sorry, not like that. Okay, so let's copy it from the browser that from the browser window that we had opened, a tab. So we will just copy the entire thing. Or rather, let's not go into that complexity. We see that what are our expectations. Explain. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I think we have a few requests that they want you to repeat the JSON part.
Okay, so I would like you to kind of unmute yourself, like Deena and Satyam. Like exactly what you want me to repeat, then I'll I think it'll be better.
But I just wanted to know what are JSON objects, like you mentioned about the JSON objects and all.
Okay, fine. I got it. So JSON objects are basically a way of representing data. I'll just show you in this notepad document. Fine. So suppose I want to give my name and my address in the form of a JSON object. So what I will do is my voice clear now?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah. So if I want to give my name and address in the form of a JSON object, what I will do is, first of all, I'll create a JSON object. So for that, I'll open a curly brace and close a curly brace. Fine. And then I will create a key called name, put a column, and then my name is Shagil. Fine. Then a comma. After that, I will have another key called address. I'll put a colon, and then I'll write my address. So let's say my address is IEM Kolkata. Fine. So this way of representing data is called a JSON object notation. This notation is called a JSON object notation, and this thing collectively is called a JSON object. The notation is called a JSON object notation, called a JSON, and this entity is actually a JSON object. So JSON object wala part is clear?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Yeah, great. Now I'll tell you what is a JSON array. Suppose, let's say, I want to also share the same detail for Dina. So let's say I'll write Dina over here, and let's say she's from, she's also from IIM Kolkata. Are you from Kolkata, Dina?
No, Bhaiya, from UP.
Okay, fine. So I'll just write, I'll just write Kolkata in my address and UP in your address. Fine. Now, for this, I'll have to send two different JSON objects. So but they represent the same thing. So what we can do is we can wrap them inside of a JSON array, having two elements. 0th index will contain my details, and 1th index will contain your details, and just wrap them inside of this rectangular brackets. And this entire thing now becomes a JSON array. Fine. Now suppose there is a key, let's say details, and the details is nothing but a JSON array. So it will have on the 1th index, the first article will be my name and my address, and the second article will be your name and your address. So this will form a JSON array, and the key for the JSON array will be details. Fine. Is this thing clear? Satyam and Dina?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay, great. And what about Satyam?
हमको मैंने जानना था ये जेसन यूज कैसे होता है, मतलब कहाँ पर कैसे, मतलब इसमें ऐप बनाने के लिए
ऐप बनाने के लिए हम लोग ने बात किया ना कि हम लोग एक रिमोट सर्वर से डेटा लेंगे,
हाँ,
खुद से डेटा
हाँ,
है ना, तो ये डेटा कैसे आएगा?
ये जो लिंक कॉपी करके उसमें ऐप में डालेंगे।
हाँ, तो अब वो लिंक कैसे करके मुझे डेटा देगा? कुछ भी तरीके से देगा तो फिर वो मेरे कुछ काम का नहीं होगा वो डेटा। तो वो लिंक मुझे जेसन ऑब्जेक्ट माने जेसन फॉर्मेट में अरेंज करके ऐसे करके देगा, ताकि मैं हाँ एग्जैक्टली ताकि मैं इसमें से अगर मुझे नेम चाहिए तो मैं नेम निकाल लूंगा, और इस प्रोसेस को बोलते हैं पार्सिंग, जेसन पार्सिंग।
अच्छा, ठीक है, थैंक यू।
So has any one of you worked on network calls and JSONs before? Even if you have not worked on it, you can say a no in the chat box. Okay, fine. So this is the first time you're getting introduced to JSONs, and after this you'll get if you are into this Android development world, you'll face this a lot. In fact, in web development world, you'll face this. So first of all, as we said in our application, first let's open our application that we had on this one. Okay, this one. And just a moment. Okay, fine. So is my screen visible now? Yeah, now all the things have disappeared and only the screen will be appearing. Okay, great. Okay, great. So what I will do is in this application, we had stuffs for, we had created this thing, data mapper and domain, everything. Now we will one by one start filling everything. So first will be our API call, the remote API call. So for that, what we need is actually a model. We discussed about models in the MVVM part, like how the data will come. So data is coming in the form of JSON. That thing we know. So how to exactly extract those things which we need? ठीक है? क्योंकि JSON object को तो नहीं ना पता कि हम लोगों को क्या चाहिए. So we will model that data. Fine. So we have what we will do is yeah. We go just switch over to this thing again and just watch me. So first of all, we have a status key, okay, which we will check if the data returned from the API is correct or not. Then we have total results, like how many results we have. So these are actually called the metadata. Now, what is a metadata? It is the data about information about the data present in the article. Means whatever will follow. Like what are the status? What is the status of it? Is it the right data or the wrong data? Okay, so we will have status accordingly. And how many? So these are called metadata. We will not fetch it in our application. It will just be used to check if the thing is right or not. The main thing is the articles over here. So we saw that this articles is a collection of JSON objects. So first of all, we have to create a list of each article. And each article has few fields that we have to follow. The first one is a source, and source is a JSON object which consists of ID and name. Source is a JSON object which consists of ID and name. So first of all, we will go on and create an article model, and we will call it an article DTO. Fine. So just give me a second. So this will be called an article DTO. I'll explain it to you. Okay, so we will go to our domain layer, not the domain layer. Just a moment. New. Achha, one thing we forgot to make, we need another package. So first of all, we go to the data layer, create a package called model. And inside of that model, we will create our article DTO. We'll create an article DTO and call it, it will be a data class. So we will, it will be of type data class. We'll declare it here, click on enter, and this article DTO will be created. So inside of it, what all do we have? So let's see. We have a source consisting of ID name. We have author, title, description, URL, URL to image, published at, and content. These are the key that we have inside of this article. So I have already created it for saving time. So I'll just copy paste it. So you can see I have one value for author, which will be a nullable string. Now what is a nullable string? Means it can be empty. The string can be empty. It will not raise any error. Then we have a content, which will be another, again, a nullable string, a description, published at source, title, URL of this thing, and the URL to image. This URL we will use to open that browser, which we have discussed yesterday. But here, this source DTO is not created, so we will create another data class. We will create another data class for named source DTO. So go to our models again and create a new data class called the source DTO. Click on enter, and we will have our source DTO here. So source consisted of ID, value ID, which is of nullable string, and value name. So we will type it accordingly. So where is the source DTO? So we will have value ID, a nullable string, and sorry, this is not a class, everyone. I forgot. Maybe I made a mistake. This is actually a data class, and it will have round brackets, not the curly ones. Fine. So now we will write value ID, which will be a nullable string, and value name, which will also be a nullable string. So source DTO is created over here. Now we go to our article DTO, and you can see now it's visible. Okay, fine. These are for the article and the source, but we need another thing for the news, like all the things. It will be a collection of everything that we have. So we will go and create another data class that we will call news DTO, and click on enter. And this news DTO will actually consist of articles, status, and total results, which we have. Why? Because see, in this entire JSON response, in this entire sorry, I'm not sharing that screen right now. Okay, so is the JSON screen, this screen visible to everyone? Okay, so are you people with me? Are we on the same page? Great. So see here, in this JSON object, we have a field for status, we have a field for total results, and we have a field for articles, and that's it. Those are the three fields present. Inside of articles, we had a lot of fields for which we created those two objects. But for this news data that we are going to get, we have only three keys: status, total results, and articles. So we will accordingly create that thing over here. So I'll just share my screen. So what do we have? So what do we have here? Here we have a value article, which will be a list of article DTO, a value status, and a value total results. So I'll do it accordingly. So value articles. I mean, let's not call it value every time, because this is a variable. So please excuse my terminology. This will be an article DTO. Fine. Then we will have one for the status. Now status, what will be the data type of status? Definitely it will be a nullable string. And then we have total results. I think that's what we had. Did we have total result or something else? Any responses? Those of you who are actually coding along with me. Was it total result or total results?
Total results.
Total results, great.
Yes.
These are total results, and it will be again a string, and no, sorry. This is actually an integer, as we pointed it out, and a nullable integer. And this one also should be nullable because it can return us a null object. So we are ready with the model. So we know how, in what form the data we will get. Now, what we will do, we will get the data. Now what we will do, we will actually get the data. For that, we will make a network call. And for making a network call, we will use the Retrofit library that we had imported yesterday. So are all of you ready with the Retrofit library? Like the thing which we imported in our Gradle scripts yesterday? Because without it, you can't make a network call. So any responses? Is everyone ready? In fact, there are a lot of other libraries that we will need in our project. So I'll just paste the link to all of them over here. So in case any one of you who didn't attend yesterday's session can follow what I'm like saying over here. So these are the list of all the dependencies that I will be using in my project. Let me paste it. Just a moment. It's not getting pasted. I don't know why. It's not getting pasted. I think you people have to copy it from here. It's not getting pasted in the Zoom thing. So can you see the build.gradle file over here? Will be replacing it with my own build.gradle file. And let's see this thing. Okay, no, it's not working. Just give me a second. There is some problem with my system. It's not getting copy and pasted. Yeah, now I think it did. Yeah. So can you people see it now? All the libraries that I have over here. So first thing is the paging library. So let's sync it. First is for the paging. The other one is for navigation, Kotlin's coroutine lifecycle, and all these things. Dagger-Hilt. Don't worry about it if you don't understand it. It's just necessary for building this project. So that's why. Is this thing okay? Like, am I overwhelming you with a lot of stuff? You don't need to remember anything over here. You just need to copy it, because that's what I'm doing, and that's what all of us do. Are you people with me? Can I have some responses? If you don't understand, please unmute yourself and ask. I'm always open to all your doubts. Hello. Am I audible, first of all? So what happened to the participants? Yeah, so you people are understanding these things, right? I need responses, otherwise how will I know whether you're understanding or not? You will get the GitHub code for this. Definitely, I'll create a GitHub in front of you people only. And then we will know. Especially for the build.gradle file, because there are a lot of dependencies that you need to add when you're building a project. Yeah, thanks, Rohit. Rohit has shared a link where you people can copy the dependencies from there and paste it in your projects, for those of you who are coding along with me. And I'll just sync my project, and then we'll get started with the retrofit part. I know it's a little difficult. I know I understand, but trust me, This is the thing that the industry wants. Fine. So let's get started. So as you can see, the build is successful. We can go ahead with our network call. So in the remote layer, I will create an interface. And name it, since we are making a network call, so why not name it get news article something, some API service. Let's call it an API service. Let's call it an API service. Fine. And inside of this API service, we will make a get request. Now, why get request? I'll just share my screen again. So can you people see this browser? Over here, you can see there is in green, it's written that this API is actually of type get. Any guesses like why is it of type get? Why this API is of type get? Any guesses?
Because we need to fetch the data.
Okay, yeah, great. We are fetching the data. We are not sending the data to the server. So that's
We're
why
not pushing the data. That's yes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why this API of type get. So the network request that we have to make should also be of type get, isn't it? The network request that we are making should also be of type get, because if it is a get API and we post something in it, it will not accept. It will throw an error, right? So for that, what I will do is I will just type the code and explain it to you one after the other. So first of all, I will create a function. Fine. I will create a function which will be a suspend function. Now, what is a suspend function? I will tell you what is a suspend function very soon. Just hang there. So we will create a suspend function by the name of get news article, in which the query for country will be US and the query for API key will be my API key. As simple as that. So we will create get news article, and in the constructor we will annotate it with a query field. You can see import this one retrofit 2.http. In the query field we will have the first thing, that is country. So we will do it with country, and this will be passed to us as a string from the user, and here we are actually doing it ourselves. It will be US, and we have another query in the API. If you print people, let me copy and paste the API endpoint over here so that you people can have a look at it while I'm typing. So I'll just put it here. So over here you can see that in the query part we have country equal to US, category is equal to business, and API key is equals to my API. I recommend all of you to use your API key, otherwise the response will be slow. So country, and you can see API key, we'll type it exactly. API key. This will also be of type string, and it will be equal to my API key right now. And for your case, it will be equal to your API key. I'll just copy it, paste it here, and this thing will return us a list of objects, right? And that will be a news DT, which the model which we have created. So this will be a response, and it will give us a news DT as a return. But since this is a get function, so we will annotate it with @get, which is a retrofit annotation. And over here, since we are fetching top headlines, you can see in the endpoint we are adding top headlines. So we will write over here top headings. Till here, anybody has any doubt? I'm sure a lot of people must be having doubts. So please go ahead and ask quickly. Don't hesitate to ask. If you ask, then only you will understand. And you are here to understand. Fast, fast. What happened, people? How's the Josh?
Some responses, guys. Please interact.
I know all of you are coding along with me. I can understand that. Okay, great. Vivan Agarwal says, what does the annotation query do? So while I was discussing about the API endpoint, I said that anything we have after the question mark is actually a query. Dina said that this is a query. So to let our retrofit client know that this thing that we are passing over here into this function is a query, we have to annotate it with query, and the query for which field? The query for country. Similarly, for this thing, the query for API key. Is this thing clear? Vivan? Okay, great. Anything else? Any other things? Any other queries you have about query? I'm waiting. Okay, I assume none of us have a problem over here. So I'll move on now with the second part of the creating of this thing, our network call. So in the DI module, we will actually declare, we will inform our app like how to make this API call. We will create a client. Okay, so in DI, we will create a Kotlin class. Just a second. Basically, this should not be a class. It will be an object. So we will create a Kotlin object and call it data module. This will be of type object. So we have created the data module. Now, this is not any ordinary class. This is actually a part of the dependency injection. Now, what is a dependency injection? Basically, when developing industry applications, we don't hard code our code. What I mean to say by this is, suppose we have to create an instance of an object. You people understand what is an instance of instance of a class? Can anyone quickly tell me what is an instance of a class or what is an object? Any ideas? Come on, you people know these things, I assume. You can unmute yourself and be quick, please, because we have a lot of things to do and we have done a lot of things. Yeah, object. What is an object? Shlok? So basically, a class is a blueprint, not an exact thing which exists. So an object is something which exists, and it is of the type class. So object is the implementation of a class. So if we are creating objects of this retrofit, then suppose something wrong happens, then we have to change the code everywhere. But in this pattern, in the clean architecture, using dependency injection, what happens is we will just change the code over here, and then the code in the entire app for this retrofit instance will get changed. So we're using a design principle. So that's why I will annotate this object with @module, and you can see this it's from Dagger, and we will use install in singleton component : class. Fine. Now why singleton component? So basically we want that at a time only one place of the application should access the network. We don't want that 2-3 places at a time are making network nodes one after the other. This will make our app a lot buggy. Now inside of this, we will actually tell the application how we want to make our network. So we will create a function. Yeah. Please go ahead. Anybody's mic is on. Okay, so let us continue our task. We will create a function, call it provide API service, and it will be of type API service. And this will be of type API service. Fine. And this will return. Now API service is the interface which we have created just now over here. Just a second. Yeah, this is the API service interface that we have created. Fine. So we will be using that. So this will return a retrofit builder, basically retrofit dot builder, and over here we will pass our base of URL. Okay. So we will create an instance of it dot base URL, and inside the base URL, can anyone tell me what I will paste over here? You can get a reference from here. What is the base URL? I said in the beginning. If people were listening, you can answer. What is the base URL? Anyone would like to answer? What is the base URL? Ajao. Why you people are so drained today? Had a hectic day at college. I assume nobody had a breakup. Or did you people do? Just arrived home, yeah. Okay, Vivan says means root of the URL. Yeah. So that newsapi.org, we will also have to specify the network protocol, the protocol that we are following. So https://newsapi.org /v2 /. So this thing which I have highlighted is actually our base URL. So I just copy it and paste it here. So this will form our base URL from which we will be making network calls. Now it will return a JSON object we have seen. So we want to convert that JSON object into the data model that we had. Right. So for that, we don't have to do anything because we have the library doing it for it. So we will write add converter factory. Add converter factory. JSON converter factory. Fine. JSON is basically a Google library for parsing JSON objects that we are getting from the internet. So we will create the factory JSON converter factory dot create. After that, what we will do is dot. Now, since we have created our thing, so we will build it and then create an API service for that. So we will write dot build dot create, and inside of create we will pass in API service : class.java. Was this thing clear? Any responses? What I did here was clear to everyone? because something I'm going to do now will make you people like confuse you people a lot. I will annotate this function with provides. So now I assume you people must be confused now. Wow, what is this annotation of provides? So anyone would like to throw some light upon it? What I am doing basically? Any guesses? मजाक ही कर दूं कुछ. What happened? Are you people understanding? How many of you are understanding what I'm like typing over here? Like not every line of code, because we don't need to understand every line of code. We just need to understand what exactly we are doing, because these things you can find on the internet and you just have to copy it. Am I audible to everyone? Please write in the chat box or unmute. Yeah, great. Okay. Any other? What happened? Chalo, so let's move on with that. And the next thing that we are going to do over here is build the repository part. Fine. So this is the last of the difficult portions that we will be doing in this application, and then we will be moving to the easy portion, that is designing the layout. I think that will be more interesting. So now we will build the repository part for our application, and the repository part, as you know, will fetch the data will make the network calls, will get the data, and then it will give it to the domain layer. Fine. So without any ado, we will create a file, a Kotlin class of file, and the name of that file will be, since this is a repository, so get news article repository, and this is the implementation of that repository. So why not name it get news article repository implementation, and hit enter. So yeah, then what we need over here is an instance of our API service that we have created. Now that can be instantiated because it's an interface. So we'll need that interface for us. Okay, but before we move forward with it, we need two things in our util file. That is to check the errors that we are making. So I'll just quickly go ahead and paste it over here. So we have two files, basically a resource and a safe API request. So we will copy it, and in the util layer, I will paste it. Now, what happened? Sorry. Okay, yeah. So we can see in the resource layer, if the message from the API call is successful, we will wrap that thing in the success generic. Okay, so I will not go into the terminology. So basically what it will do is, whenever the API call is successful, we will pass a success message to our domain layer. If the API call is under progress, means it is loading, then we will pass a loading to our domain layer. And if the API call has failed, we will pass this error class to our domain layer. Is that thing clear? You will get all of these things in the GitHub repository. In fact, I'll just commit it and post it now only, so that you people can see it. And over here, this is for making a safe API call. So what it does is, if there is any exception over here, so it will catch this exception and prevent it from crashing our application. Fine. So till here, what I will do is I will commit my changes. Not here. I will commit my changes, whatever I have till here. So first of all, I'll init it. Git init. Git init is used to like initialize this repository as an empty Git repository, and then I will add all my files to the staging area. Git add dot, add everything to the staging area, and after that I need to commit with a message, which is the first commit. And yes, I've done it. Now I will have to create a repository. So I'll share my entire screen. So I'll go over here to my GitHub. So you can see I've already created an empty repository for all of you so that you people can clone from here. So what I will do is I will first of all copy the link. Means this is the link to this repository, and add a remote source like git remote add origin, and I will just paste and click on it, and let's check if this thing is successfully pasted. I'll just write remote -v, and you can see that for both fetch and pull from this repository, we are using the correct location. Cool. Then after that we will push. So git push -u origin master. We click it here, and it will post all of our changes to GitHub. And if I refresh this page now, you people can see that there are all the files and all the changes that I've done is over here. So let's share it with you right now. So in the chat box. Okay, so can everyone see the GitHub repository? The link to that, which I pasted in the chat box right now. Means all the code that I've written till now, I've pushed to the repository. Can you people see it?
Yes, Bhaiya.
Okay, great. So do you know how to clone a repository? Okay, fine. I'll show you how to clone a repository. Okay, yeah, great. Any one of you who does not know how to clone a repository, it's pretty simple. First of all, you have to install Git in your system. And if you have Git already installed, or if you don't have Git installed, yeah, exactly, using Git clone. So let me do it using a command prompt. So all of you must be having a command prompt of any other terminal. You go to that directory where you want to clone this repository. So let's say for me, I'll go to the F directory. Okay, sorry, CD is not the command used. Let's use Windows PowerShell over here. CD is actually a Linux command. And I think Windows PowerShell will support it. CD F. Yeah, so as you can see, I've changed my directory to F directory. And over there, I will create a folder, or you cannot create a folder also. You can just call git clone. After that, you go to this site, and in the code section, you will find the link to this. So just copy it, and over here, you paste it, and just click enter, and you will see that the entire repository will come into your local machine. Is that thing clear? Do I have to repeat that? I'm not doing it because I already have it in my local machine. Is it clear, guys? So I think I should not move any further because we have another session today coming up and I should not overburden you people. Fine. So shall I stop here or shall I do something else? What are your responses?
You can continue.
Okay. Somebody says that I can continue. I think the count has
Yes.
also increased a little. I think people are now joining in. Okay, great. So what I will do is I will teach you not the network part today. I will create the layout with all of you. Fine. So first of all, let me share my phone screen and show you what is the layout that we have planned. I mean, yesterday I showed you, but still I'll show you what we are planning. I've made a little changes to it. You people can change it also. So just give me a second. I'll share my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, it's
Yeah, so just I will open this application and you can see, just let it load first of all. So this is how it will look. So you can see there is a card with rounded corners. So this is the little change that I have made to this project. So there will be a card with slight rounded corners over here. And we are not going to keep this text as it is. We will use ellipsis. So any ideas what is an ellipsis for people from the HTML background? What an ellipsis is actually? So basically, if there are a lot of lines in the title, suppose like this Russian military recruitment centers, this. So we don't want to display everything. It does not look very nice. So let's say we want to display only the first two lines. So after the first two lines, there will be 3 ... that you can see. So that is called an ellipsis. Let me show you in the Google home feed. You can see over here that tally of 24064 runs in IN, and then after that you have 3 dots. Can everybody see it? Yeah, so we will be doing that same thing over here. We will be using, and that thing is called an ellipsis. Okay, that is called an ellipsis. The people who are doing web development might recall it. So we will just create the layout for it, a dummy layout for it. So let's stop sharing my screen and yeah, great. So now I think the interesting part, getting the layout. I have the Android Studio opened, I have 2 browsers open and a Zoom window open. So my entire system is lagging. Just excuse me for that. Finally, let me
Shagil,
share
I
my
think
screen.
we need to wrap this up fast as we have another session coming up.
Yeah. I'll just wrap it in another 10 minutes. Fine.
Yes,
And
sure.
by the time you can share the attendance link.
Yes, just a small announcement, guys. I'll share the attendance link with you in the chat box. There is another field today in the attendance sheet where you will get an option whether you want the next 2 days in the offline mode, that is in college. So please select your answer record and we will plan the next 2 days accordingly. Okay, everybody?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, it will be better if you will tell the time.
Yes, offline will be far better than online.
If it's in offline, we will keep it after college hours, definitely. That is after 4 p.m. It will depend
Exactly
upon,
after 4:10 or 4:15, we'll keep it.
yeah,
We'll not
right.
make you people wait that much. So
Just write your
kindly
responses
fill it
in the
yourself.
form.
And we'll also kind of circulate
And
this
what
form.
will be the destination? What will be the destination? Management building or Gurukul or Ashram?
It will be Gurukul and most probably the science auditorium of Gurukul.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will make arrangements for all of you based on the feedback that we receive. So do fill it very carefully so that we get a clear idea of whether to expect how many people in that. Fine. So yeah, here what I will do is I will delete this text view, this dummy text view. In fact, I'll do one thing. I'll delete this entire composable and create a new composable. Here also, I will delete this thing because we don't have this composable anymore. So just delete it. Okay, great. Now what I will do is I'll create a new composable. So at the annotation of composable, function will be article item. Function will be an article item because for these reasons. Okay, and we will have something as input in the actual thing that we are building because we need to display the data dynamically. But right now I'm just doing a static overview. So I'll create a card. Right. So this card will actually resemble the card that we have seen in the layout. So I will write modifier equals to modifier dot. This will means we are not filling the max size. We are just filling the max width. So I will just or rather just add a padding to it, or maybe I think I should leave it blank. I'll just take a shape for it, and shape will be rounded corner shape, and the radius will be 10 dp. Just import dp. So this will resemble our card. Inside of our card, we will have a column. Okay. And in the column, we have inside of the column, we will have a place for image views. So we don't need anything over here. So here we will have an image and we will get the image from the painter object. So let us look for any good image on the internet, an HD quality image. And let's go ahead with this one. I'll just do it very quickly. Just do it demo. So in the drawable folder, I will so from here we will get this as we had did in the previous section. Painter resource. We will have this as r dot drawable dot demo GDSC, and in the content description we will just leave it blank for the time being. So this will be the thing for our image. We will have to modify it a little. That is using the modifier, like how it actually looks. So I will add modifier equals to modifier dot. So in this column image, actually we want it to fill the maximum width and a height of 300 so that it looks similar, all the things. I will add a height of 300 dp and ask it to fill max. So that is the thing till here, and after that we will ask it to crop the image and content scale it. So content scale is equals to content scale dot crop. So we have our image over here, and then we will need a text view. So now we will need a text right below it. We are just done. I'll just leave you in a moment. So we will add a text over here, and the title will be, we will decide the title and then the ellipsis part which I talked about. So the text will be equal to, let's say, dummy news. Max lines will be equal to 2 because we don't want to exceed that, and overflow will be equal to text overflow dot ellipsis. And at the end we'll just add a spacer so that it looks nice, and it will be modifier dot height of 12 dp. Let's say modifier dot height of 12 dot dp, and this article item we will actually put it over, and we will delete this thing, we don't need it. This. Neither do we need this right now. Let's paste it directly over here. So article item, and this is the composable that we have. And in the preview also we can write it as article item, and then run our application. Not use my mobile phone, right? Use a Pixel XL API, and this is the last thing that we're doing, right? Okay, so let's run it and see how it actually looks. Gradle build will build the application. So you can see the attendance link is in the chat box, and do carefully fill it.
Guys, a small request to all of you present here. I shared the attendance link in the chat box for you all to fill it up. We were almost around 45 to 50 students present in this meet right now, and I have more than 50 responses. So it's not ethical if you share the attendance link outside of this people present here, right? So don't do it. Don't share it among your friends who are not attending. You are attending, you are gaining the knowledge, and let it be limited to you. Okay.
Yeah, just a moment. The application is getting built. It's taking a little time, but I think most of you expect to see that card on the screen. That is what this code does. So we'll just wait for a while. does be over quite soon. If you have any questions, then you can ask. And yes, after this, we have the Hacktober Fest brainstorming sessions. So do join that session, as I have discussed it in earlier. Or let me do one thing. Let me stop sharing my screen. And when it is built up completely, I'll show you the result. And in the meanwhile, you can ask me any doubts which you have. Yeah, so the build is complete. I'll just show you, share my screen and show you. So any doubts till now? Those who are present can respond in the chat box or through unmuting yourself. Yeah, so I'll just share my screen and show you like what the output is. What happened? Yeah. So this is the output. So we have a card with rounded corners, and we have this beautiful image. And inside, after that, we have a dummy news thing written. So that's it for today's session. And I hope you people enjoyed it. And do fill in the form carefully. And hopefully we'll have a session tomorrow offline. So thank you and good night. Have a nice day. And I hope you people have the GitHub link so you can get the code from there. So thank you for joining all of us. Thank you to
everyone for
Ahana
attending.
and thank you to Rohit for
Yes.
staying there till the end. And thanks to everyone.